Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet Podcast. I am your host and resident panelist, as always, Ryan Schlipp. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_data. Well, we're going to continue marching right along. One of the more fun, exciting, entertaining guys of the draft. Somewhat still lesser talked about because he's a little bit further down the line, but I think he's going to become a fan favorite if I had to guess. That's Warren Brinson out of Georgia. He is sort of the run defender of the group. You know, we've been looking at some more one-tech types. I'm sure there's going to be a contingent that says he can pass rush, and you know what? Maybe. He's not like 340 pounds. His stats weren't terrible. I mean, his sacks were terrible. He only had 2. In fact, his sack production has been awful. In 712 total attempts, he had 6 sacks. But 20 pressures on 186 attempts is pretty good for a guy that's primarily a run defender. Had an 80 PFF grade, 81 run defense grade, 74 pass rush grade. And actually, his pass rush grades have not been terrible for the last 3... you know what? I am looking at the wrong year. Son of a gun. 74 grade, 76 run defense, 65 pass rush. The 2 prior years, he had a 74 and a 73 pass rush grade. He was above 10% in pressures in both of those years. This past year, 16 on 226, so it was down. But, you know, again, if you want to go that route, it's in there somewhere. We'll see how it goes, but I don't think that's primarily what he's being brought here. He's probably more than likely being brought in to be an upgraded TJ Slaton, but we'll see if that pans out. Slaton was a 5th-round pick. He's a 6th-round pick, so we'll see how it goes. But Brinson is a 5th-year senior. He is 23 years old, 6'5", 315, 5'09", 40, 10.5 hands, which are pretty big, 80 and almost 81-inch wingspan, so pretty long arms. Another guy that spent his entire career at one program, which is cool. Self-described as the biggest personality on Georgia's roster, which I think we'll come to understand. Played just 3 snaps in 2024 season opener before leaving with a left ankle contusion, which sidelined him for the following 2 games, so it doesn't sound super serious, but there's that. He's got 2 younger sisters. He's from Savannah, Georgia, which is a pretty nice place. Wife and I have been there. He did end up going to the IMG Academy, which is one of the premier schools if you're trying to be the best of the best football players and whatnot go there. It's in Bradenton, Florida. He was a 4-star recruit, and he did not go to the Senior Bowl, but he was at the East-West Shrine Bowl. What else? He is nicknamed the Super Bowl baby because he was born on the Super Bowl. So, you know, there's that. It's also known as head because he has a big head. So, you know, we'll go with Super Bowl baby. That's better. Described as someone that sets the tone in the locker room and on the field. Noted for his maturity and his leadership qualities. There is a extremely serious scandal that he's involved in, though, that I think we need to talk about. While at Georgia, he did turn himself into police and was arrested. Oh, it's hard to talk about. He participated in a Orbeez TikTok challenge where he shot little baby Orbeez at people out of a toy gun. Oh. My voice is shaking. I'm sorry. I'm literally shaking. I don't know if have you seen Orbeez? Do you see what those? They're the tiniest little. You pinch them between your fingers and they just disintegrate. Apparently, he said he thought he knew the people and he mistook them and they were strangers. And somebody decided to press charges against him for battery, which is insane. And so when he found that out, he turned himself into the police. Released on $1,500 bail. Oh my gosh. Apparently, the manufacturer, Spin Master, who makes Orbeez, says Orbeez are designed for educational, creative, and sensory play and are not intended to be used as projectiles or inserted into mechanisms. Bro, shut up. It's crazy, too, that NPR reached out to the manufacturer of Orbeez and asked them about this issue, to which they had to put out a statement. We didn't actually intend for them to be shot at people, but They're also tiny little frickin' Orbeez, dude. Like, it's not going to hurt anybody. Although, let's see, authorities warned that you can seriously injure somebody if you hit them in the eyes or whatever, which is true of literally every object on Earth, I think. Eyes are quite sensitive. In fact, I would be stunned unless those things are firing out at a rapid pace. If an Orbeez could actually hurt somebody's eye, I'd be much more afraid of like a toy car, any kind of stick, or long, small items. Legos, if they're thrown or dropped on your retina, probably be all right, but wouldn't feel good. What a stupid thing. And the funny thing is, like, I don't know, maybe it was some kind of malicious thing with a machine gun and it actually really hurt. And he's like, screw you, you piece of garbage. I hate you and I'm trying to shoot you in the eyeball. Open your eye, you idiot. Maybe that's what he did. But it sounds to me to be an issue that fits his personality. While other guys are street racing and doing much worse things, he's out there putting Orbeez in little guns and going pew pew at people. And this dude gets charged with battery. That's crazy. At Georgia, he wore number 97, but since Kenny Clark owns that, he decided to go with 91. We'll get into a little bit of that. He talks about Kenny Clark and whatnot. RAS of 934, classic. By the way, please don't abandon me, but he did start a podcast. I'd mentioned that he said he wanted to be a podcast. No, he has a podcast. Started it while at Georgia called Beyond the Hedges. He said he did that to pursue his ultimate goal of being on ESPN. Have to check that out, see what that's all about. Or you do it and let me know. I don't know, we'll see. I better do it. You don't do it. You stay here. Stay here. Don't leave. Came up with a nickname. Again, we'll possibly play these clips, I don't know, but the nickname for the group of defensive linemen that are from Georgia, of which there are plenty, is the Pack Dogs. I think Dog Pack might have been better, but he went with Pack Dogs, because dogs can go out in packs, and then you got Pack for Packers and Dogs for Georgia, and I think the Dog Pack would have been, I think that's better, but, It's not just the defensive linemen. Obviously, you got Quay and Bullard there, too, which I think they can be a part of the Dog Pack. I'm telling you, I'm saying Dog Pack. I'm not saying Pack Dogs. The fact that he was so creative to come up with Pack Dogs, but then just get the words in the wrong order. Am I wrong? Is Pack Dogs better? I mean, I know you want to be dogs, but the Dog Pack it's just so much better. He flew a plane. So, also piloting in his repertoire. Posted a video July 28th of last year of him flying a plane. I'm sure he was like the co-pilot or something. I don't really know, but Georgia defensive lineman Warren Brinson checked off a unique item on his bucket list over the weekend as he flew a plane for the first time. The Bulldog star posted a video on X showing himself in control of the aircraft with someone else filming from the passenger seat. It seems that Brinson simply decided to learn how to fly as a hobby, with his major at UGA being housing and management policy. Either way, it's impressive that he learned how to do so already and is prepared to enter his senior year at Athens. You can view the video of Brinson flying the plane below. So, I mean, I understand this is like, these are a different breed of human being where it's like, I'm going to go to the best school and then go to one of the best programs and be one of the best players on the best defensive lines at the best programs and be drafted into this prestigious league. And but to just be like, yeah, I also am going to be a pilot, so I'm going to go learn to do that real quick and dedicate a lot of time to that while I am getting a degree at the University of Georgia, while I am a starting defensive football player on the major program. I'm also going to dedicate a ton of time over here, and then who knows how many hours had to go into that, and then, I'm just going to go fly a plane. Okie doke. And then just a couple quick things here that I found. The Goat House, who does a lot of draft stuff on YouTube, he tweeted out after the pick, Steele, Packers Warren Brinson, defensive tackle out of Georgia. He had him as DT 14 with a third-round grade. One of the more underrated players in the draft. Has the physicality and anchor ability to play inside and the quickness to play 3-tech, disruptive player, sneaky pick. And then you've got Eric Galko, Director of Football Operations and Player Personnel, Shrine Bowl, Optimum Scouting, etc., etc. Packers got a massive, unique, high-upside defensive line talent in Georgia's Warren Brinson. With rare size and explosiveness, Brinson's combination made him a can't-miss when watching Georgia and Shrine Bowl film. People at Georgia will tell you over his 5 years at UGA, he flashed all the talent his first and second round peers did. High upside talent who can immediately add size and push the Packers' defensive line. But alrighty, why don't we take a break? I don't think we have a ton of stuff from the coaches. I will peruse through that and see what I can find. Otherwise, we got plenty of content from Brinson himself, and we'll see where we can take it from there. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. All right, so we'll start off with this. This is Matt LaFleur's post-draft. We've already heard his first two answers, talking about what did you add as far as pass rush, I believe is the question. What do you feel like you added to your pass rush with the three guys? Okay, so yes. His third is Warren Brinson.
Who's the last guy? Oh, yeah, Brinson. I mean, he's a bigger body interior player, so it's not so much on the edge, but just adding value inside. You know, we losing a guy like TJ Slaton. You want to replace that, and so we're hopeful that he can come in here and do some of the dirty work in that regard.
So, I mean, it's the question was, what did you add to your pass rush? And again, I don't mean to completely rule that out, but the answer was very quickly deflected into, well, he's a bigger body interior guy. We lost Slaton. We're replacing Slaton, and we want him to do the dirty work, which is what? Occupying space, occupying blockers, things like that. He gave plenty of insight into what they see him as. He didn't mention a single thing, as far as I'm concerned, about pass rush. Just saying, just throwing it out there. Which I'm fine with, by the way. Interestingly, the first question for Gutekunst here is about Brinson.
Ryan, is Brinson better at like gobbling up blocks like TJ did, or is he more of an attacker from inside?
He's a little bit of both. You know, I was proud of TJ how he progressed, and when he first got here, he was great. He was one of those guys that held the point really well, could eat up double teams, but he progressed as a pass rusher as well. I think Brinson coming out, it probably has a little bit more, pass rush naturally. But again,
that part I agree with. I think he'll come in. He will not be a 10% pass rush guy, but I think he'll be better at that. I hope he'll be better at that than TJ Slaton was. I mean, he grades out better than Slaton did. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think Slaton was actually graded out as a better pass rusher than run defender in college, which was always kind of odd to me. But still, I mean, it kind of translated into the pros at certain times, which was annoying because, bro, you can't be who you are and not be a run defender. But I maybe it's silly to just assume the 6th-round pick is going to come in and be better, but the bar, no offense, Slaton, was relatively low, so I would think he'll be a better pass rusher. And again, he's not a big, massive nose tackle type like TJ Slaton was, so he's going to have less limitations in that regard. But still, I don't think he'll be a 10% pressure guy.
A really big man that can do a lot of things. I think the coaching staff, and I believe he can play up and down the line. He's not just a one-position player on the defensive line. So that
they love to keep their options open, but sometimes they do that, and I just get into it. He does not belong on the outside. Please don't do that, unless we're talking some very weird, very specific like run defense situation. 4th and 1, and you've got bigger body guys on the inside. And then he's playing as a defensive end because you'd rather have him than, Kingsley or something. I'm just saying, please don't do that.
One of the things that attracted us to him.
And then the final one here, this is from Matt LaFleur's yesterday press conference.
On the flip side, it was the first time we met Brinson and John Williams, and they seem to have some pretty good personalities on them.
You probably know them better than I do.
I'm curious, your locker room is a tapestry of different personalities, right? Do you want to have some guys that, there's some serious guys, as long as they're serious about football, do you want those guys?
Tell you what, I don't know if we played that or not yesterday. I feel like we did, or maybe I just listened to it. We don't need to play that. It's not really about Warren Brinson. It's trying to be charitable. It's not important that we get the answer to that question. Do we need a mix of different types of guys? I have no idea. Anyways, Couple of Shrine Bowl references here about Mr. Brinson. Over at Giants.com, they did a little breakdown of each day. Georgia defensive tackle Warren Brinson showed off a mean inside spin during pass rush drills. Teammate Nazir Stackhouse arrived late due to snow in Pensacola. Hilarious that they're both Packers. And then during the final team drills of the day, Georgia defensive lineman Warren Brinson was a terror up front. No one could block him as he knocked a pass down at the line and was credited for at least one sack chasing the quarterback from the pocket. At his pro day, he more or less stood on all of his numbers. He did decide to run a 20-yard shuttle there, got a 4.64, and then did the bench while at his pro day, which he didn't do either of those at the combine, had 27 reps on the bench. Not able to find a ton of details specifically about him from the pro day. I did have the Tony Pauline thing out here, which kind of just lays out already what I've said. The only additional thing is that apparently the Jaguars were very interested in him. Sucks to suck. All right, let's get into a couple of these press conferences here. The one thing that kind of stands, he's a funny dude for sure. He's surprising when you listen to him. He doesn't sound like your typical down south Georgia boy. He sounds very Gen Z, just I don't know how to explain it, but you'll it's not what you would expect.
I guess that's what it's been like being a Packer. What's it been like for you, for this past week or so?
Well, after I got drafted, it really didn't hit me until I woke up the next morning. I was like, whoa, I'm a Packer. And then somebody asked me what I do. And I was like, I play football. And they said, who? I said, Green Bay Packers. And it was like, oh, snap, I'm really in the NFL for real. But it's cool, man. It's a blessing, bro. 10-year-old me would be very proud. Yeah, he would be proud. But, I mean, it's cool, bro. I'm in the NFL. I'm living the dream. I get to play football for fun now. And, I mean, I just got smiles on my face. We did a walk there. I'm just smiling. It's like, wow, I'm really here, bro. It's a blessing, honestly.
So what you're saying is you're going to be on ESPN someday after your football career?
That is the goal. That's why I started my podcast, Beyond the Hedges, when I was doing it with the players down at Georgia, was just to get my footprint out there. I didn't have to go get a journalism degree. No knock on you guys. But no knock.
No, the knock is
no knock.
It's very
But it was like, bro, I want to be on ESPN one day, so it's like, let me just get in front of a camera and just talk to my peers. And it's like, oh, it's easy to talk to people, so let's do it.
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
No, it's probably not. Bro. I got to do a lot of research and stuff probably too. Yeah. Oh, he works for ESPN?
Ain't that great?
Let's go.
So have you already booked Quay and Devontae to come on the podcast since they're right here?
Not yet. We got to get to that first, but hopefully they'll say yes.
Did your phone just blow up with Georgia players? Quay and Devontae and
yeah.
those guys?
Everybody hit me. Jordan Love hit me. Kenny Clark hit me. That was cool. When Kenny Clark texted me and my heart dropped, I was like, no, this guy's a legend. Whoa. But everybody, it was just a lot of people texting me, man. I didn't get back to everybody, but I hope everybody knows that I do appreciate all the love that they showed me for sure.
I'm guessing you got back to Kenny Clark, though.
Oh, yeah. I had to learn from Kenny Clark for sure, yeah.
Did you catch him this weekend?
Yeah, I seen him and I was, oh, snap. That was Kenny Clark. I didn't even see his face, but I saw him and the aura just hit me in the face, so I knew it was Kenny Clark. Yeah, it was the aura.
So whose job does it look like you could take here? Whose job do you think you could take out of us right here?
Neither of y'all. Y'all been doing this for a long time. Y'all got years on me. I still got to learn to get to y'all spot, so I'm not going to take anybody's job. I'm just going to be a coworker.
That's okay, because none of us can take your job either, so no. It fits.
With a couple of hard work, 6 A's a day, you might get to this.
You give me all the hard work you want.
Yeah.
What did you go to school? What is your degree in?
My degree was economics and real estate management.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's it like to have Stackhouse? And I realize you have a problem making friends probably here, but what's it like to have Stackhouse come along here with you?
Bro, it's fire having my teammates here, and then it's going to be the whole Georgia squad out there again, bro. I can't wait. It's going to be like a picture of Philadelphia with all the Georgia players on it. We're going to do the same thing here. I call it the Pack Dogs. You get it? Like Pack. Dogs traveling in the pack.
Dog pack.
Green dogs. Yeah. I coined that.
Yeah, put that on podcast. Put that on pod.
Trademark.
Put on a shirt.
Yeah, for sure. The Pack Dogs. We got to have some. I might do it.
But Warren, you did mention, you mentioned Nazir by name when you were talking about on the conference call about you guys working together.
Yeah.
To have him come along and to have that continuation of all these Georgia dogs here, what does that mean for you just transitioning?
I think the league is really just seeing that the way to win games is get some Georgia Bulldogs on your team, honestly. I mean, Kirby Smart is a great coach. He develops a talented group of young men year over year. And it's just hard work goes into it. So that's why we're able to transition to the NFL so well, just because what we do at Georgia, we walk through, we meet, we walk through again, we meet, we go to practice, we walk through, we practice hard, we walk through at the end of practice, man. Georgia is rigorous, and we got to just continue the greatness. And I just want to be an example for the younger guys at Georgia. Like, hey, no matter where you go, it's about getting your foot in the door. And once you get here, you're a Georgia Bulldog. You're built for anything.
Where do you think you are as a pass rusher coming into the league?
I mean, it's the NFL, so I got to get out in the preseason to see where I'm at. Honestly, I think I'm a very good pass rusher, but I can't just be too cocky about it. I got to work hard. I got to ask Kenny some stuff, just learn from the guys around me, get into practice, and just hear what they have to tell me. I'm trying to be a sponge and just soak in all the information and just find out the nuances of the NFL that I need to know to be elite and be ahead of other people.
Obviously, you're going to have to compete here. Yeah. So what does that Georgia background mean as far as that mean you to compete against your D linemen in your class? You had to compete against all those old linemen. It was like a competition every day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was always competition, man. You got Tate Ratledge up there. You had Jamari Sawyer. We had a lot of people up there that you had to compete against. You had to bring your A game every day to Georgia, every day. And if you were not on your period, you get your head knocked off. That's I'm going to take the same thing to the NFL. Just be on point every time. Take everything serious. It's a warrior mentality out there. I'm trying to win. I got to feed my family, you know. Got to eat.
I think your pick is the 5th year in a row that this team is taking a player from you.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And so when you get that 9-2-0 call, does that make you say, oh man, I already know 2 or 3 dudes that are up there, right? Does that comfort you a little bit when you take this next step?
It does comfort me, but it is the NFL, so somebody can be in, somebody can be out. It's a comfort effect, but you can't get too comfortable with it because you never know what can happen. It's always changing, it's always evolving. It's the NFL, it's not for long. So I can be here with a guy one day and he can be gone the next day. So you just never know. People are coming in and out this building, man. My goal is to do my best to learn my part, do my job, and just be a leader for the guys around me. I'm a rookie, but I still can lead by example by just doing my job, doing my part, staying in my playbook, and doing the right things, honestly, leading on and off the field.
How much of your power comes from your lower body?
See these legs are going
I know.
on?
I mean, that's why I was looking at your calf. It's like freaking gigantic.
How much power? I mean, I don't know. I haven't done a test yet, but I think a lot. Maybe all of that. Walk on them. No, I'm joking. Probably a good bit, but yeah. Not a lot of power. I don't have like Shaq legs or something like that.
What have you learned early on about this Packers defense and what Hafley, just what that?
Man, just being with Coach Covington, it's a lot of the same things from Georgia, same tree, 5 methods D-line play. Pete Jenkins coined it all the way back in the day. And it's the same thing, so I'm really going in attack, react, attack, jet mode, stunt mode. It's the same thing. It's football, man. You just got to learn the plays and do your job.
I think we'll leave it at that. The last few questions I'm not as interested in. There's also his combine interview. Have to skip most of it. It's a lot of, have you met with the Steelers? Have you met with the Buccaneers, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a couple interesting things in here.
Yes, I'm doing everything. What's your number one goal? My number one goal is just to perform and show why I'm one of the best D tackles in the country. That's honestly my number one goal. I know, like some people talk about how my play was inconsistent, but when you put all my best plays on it, it's up there with the best guys that are here, and it's probably better than most of the guys that are here. So I'm just trying to show that I'm a super athletic D tackle for this size, and I'm one of the best D tackles in the country.
How did Georgia prepare you?
How did Georgia prepare me, man? Georgia prepared me just by just the physicality aspect of going through something so hard. Like I came in with probably 14 guys at Georgia, and I think only 5 of us made it through. So that's the biggest thing. It's hard at Georgia. If you can last at Georgia, you can last anywhere. They build a culture of winning. They build a culture of men. And I mean, it's really hard. And if you can make it through that, you can make it through anything. It's not a lot of stuff that can break me just because I made it through Georgia. I had a coach like Kirby Smart who always confronted and demanded excellence from everybody. And that's what you need in the NFL, is somebody who doesn't get mad at hard coaching and having a hard culture around them. But Georgia prepared me for everything.
And this last one here, what's one game or moment to show teams what you can do?
There's one game, one moment to show teams about you know what that would be?
Say one game? Probably a SC championship against Texas, because guys are coming in saying that Texas had the best offensive line in the country, and if you see a player dominate against the quote-unquote best offensive line, and you see some of the other top guys that are on other teams get beat by the best quote-unquote top offensive line, that should tell you all you need to know about a player. Just compare the two films, honestly.
For reference, I wouldn't say the championship game necessarily, but he played Texas twice. Week 8 was his third best game. He had a 78 grade, 76 run defense grade, 70 pass rush grade, 2 pressures on 30 attempts. The other was graded as his third worst. That's the championship game. 60 grades, 62 run defense, 58 pass rush, 1 pressure, 1 sack on 30 attempts. So I agree with the Texas sentiment, but go watch him against in Texas. Well, they're both in Texas, I guess. But go watch him in Texas Week 8 if you want to see him play a little bit better. There was a question in the press conference with the Green Bay Packers press corps about, are you able to get along with the Texas guys here or whatever, which is kind of funny, I guess. But there's a funny story about Georgia, the White House, and Warren Brinson.
The White House. They weren't going to bring you. I don't know why. Bunch of nonsense. But you're the man, and when things need to get done. How did you make it happen?
I was just sitting down one day. I was like, man, didn't get to go last year. They still haven't invited us this year. Hey, coach, what's going on? Why aren't we going to the White House? Warren, they didn't invite us yet. I said, what? They didn't invite us. Watch this. And I was like, let me tweet at the president, see what happens. So I said, no invite to the White House? It's crazy. At POTUS. I wake up the next morning, Herschel Walker followed me. I look at my tweet. It blew up. I was like, oh, gosh. I look at the tweet. It's like at 200,000 views. I look at it, it's at 1 million. I'm like, oh, my gosh. I'm a generational influencer, I got the president, the most powerful man in the world, to do something. Like, I was really thinking, like, he really had to sit down, look at a piece of paper and say, who is Warren Brinson? After that, I was like, yeah, I accomplished a lot in my life.
All right, let's take our final break. We got a few more of these little nuggets, and then we'll see where we go from there. Here's an interview from the Players Lounge, and I have to assume, whether the Packers knew this or not, I don't know, but this has to be very appealing to the Packers, what he says about injuries and whatnot.
Where have you grown the most during your time at Georgia? And hopefully you come back another year, where, mentally, physically, where have you grown?
Probably just mental toughness, being able to push through adverse conditions that Georgia throws at you. You got to be able to push through a lot of things that go on. Like, you can't, if you have a little nick, it's the difference between being injured and hurt. But that's probably my biggest step. My coach always tells me that, because my freshman year, I'd have probably, if something small happened, I'd have done that. F this, man. I'm not doing this right now. But now it's like, you got to push through for the bros. I think my mental toughness has grown a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure Kirby just that I feel like that's his specialty, man. That's like Kirby's specialty sauce, like teaching guys how to be mentally strong. Yeah.
So, again, given the situation with people potentially not wanting to play hurt, could also contribute to why so many Georgia guys end up in Green Bay. It's a hilarious video of Warren Brinson. He's actually doing a podcast. If you're wondering what the noise is in the background, he's fishing on the back of a bass boat, talking about going turkey hunting.
What's the first animal you ever killed?
Probably a turkey.
I remember my first time going turkey hunting was with Austin Blasky in Savannah. It's like 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, bro, why am I up here going turkey hunting? I'm gonna have camo on. I have a shotgun in my hand. I'm in the back of the forest, scared as hell. Like, what am I doing out here? Is this like a ritual or something?
You didn't know what you were walking into?
In Effingham County, Georgia, just out there turkey hunting. We ain't find nothing. I end up falling asleep. Blasky comes up right next to me and fires his shotgun off. I'm like, whoa, bro, like, what are you doing? I've never been so startled. Elevated vocabulary.
Elevated vocabulary, he says, because of the word startled. Well, he didn't go to Harvard, but he's a good football player. I always like it when guys are, either homebodies or fisherman, hunter types end up in Green Bay, because there's plenty of that up in Wisconsin. It's kind of a funny one here, too. I'm going to play a couple seconds of this. This is from WJCL. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it's a news station talking to Warren Brinson, and he starts telling a story, and then we'll finish it with a different video.
G on his helmet.
Yeah, I have a friend named Joey, and Joey kept telling me, you're going to be a Packer, bro. You're going to be a Packer. And then my cousin, he kept telling me, you're going to be a Packer, bro. You're going to be a Packer. And now I get to go play at Lambeau Field, bro.
So he's talking about that. Here is his friend Joey live streaming. I don't know who this is. It's Jay Goofy is the name he goes by, but it's his friend Joey. Apparently he's friends with Marshawn Lloyd. Is Marshawn Lloyd his cousin? I don't know. Anyways, here is that video.
Warren Brinson to Green Bay. Please make it happen. Please. Please, God. Please. Please, God. I'm going to 198. Now we have two tight ends. Let's go! Oh, my God! Come on, baby! Yeah. Let's go! Marshawn Lloyd, Packers running back. I know! me that's funny as hell. I told you, baby. That's crazy. Say something to the chat. Hey, go Pack, go. I have to FaceTime him. Do I call him or is it too soon?
In like 10 minutes.
I can't wait 10 minutes. I told him this would happen on FaceTime 2 days ago. Day one of the draft. I called him on FaceTime. I showed him Lambeau Field. I said, this is your home. He said, I'm not going to Green Bay.
Oh,
come on, baby.
He's calling him now.
Hey, that's wild. I can't lie. I told you. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? I put it at Lambeau. I said, you're a Packer. Guess who called me? Guess who?
That's crazy, right?
Marshawn called me and said, I can't believe we got Warren. And he said, you said it too. I said, I said it. I said it.
Oh, God.
Warren, welcome to the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to every game of yours. You're going to ball out. You're going to ball out. I swear to God, you are going to ball out. Hey, I need a jersey from you, though. I'm going to need one.
Go, Pack, go, bro. I got you, bro.
You are going to live so close to me. I'm coming to I'm coming to your house.
I know. I got to figure out where I'm going to stay at.
Warren, I can't believe this.
I'm going to NFL, bro.
So I don't know what this connection is between this Jay Goofy guy, Warren Brinson, and Marshawn Lloyd. I have no idea. Seems like this dude plays like Madden and Fortnite and somehow plays with a bunch of football players. I don't know if that's just a thing that people can do or if he has their phone. I have no idea how this works out. I have no idea. He was talking to Jaden Reed on Madden, I think. He's a Packer fan. I have no idea. And here is the pièce de résistance. I have no idea what that means. Very funny clip after he won the championship, stole the microphone, and decided to do his own interview.
Brinson here live at the National Championship with CBS Sports here. I'm here with Brady Quinn.
Danny Cannell.
Danny Cannell, Brady. The Dogs just went back-to-back. How do y'all feel about this historic season? With the Dogs, people assume the Dogs are going 6-5, living in the shadow of last year. How do you feel about the Dogs and their back-to-back victory?
I think you guys are the dynasty right now. You're the king of college football. How do you feel?
I feel like this is the glory of the Dog days. The good times are forming, and the dynasty is just now beginning. Coach Smart is a great coach, and he'll be a Hall of Famer. How do you feel about the Dogs?
I think you guys took over Bama. I think you guys are the new dynasty, the kings of college football.
You heard it here from CBS Sports. Georgia football, the kings of college football.
So he's a fun dude. He's a fun guy. Since we got a couple minutes to kill, I want to pull up a couple things here. First of all, as far as the combine, there isn't a ton of great news. I guess that's not necessarily fair. If you look at the agility drills when they're running around the hoops and all that stuff, he is near the bottom as far as his maximum miles per hour or whatever the thing is. But for a defensive tackle, I'm not saying agility isn't important. I'm a little bit more interested in straight line. And although he was never fast, in fact, Nazir Stackhouse was generally faster and more agile and all those things, which is pretty impressive for his size and whatnot. But when you shorten the length, so at 40 yards, it's pretty rough. When you get down to 5 yards, he's like 9th, something like that. So, again, short area explosion is definitely where he tends to accelerate or excel. Didn't need to add the last part. If we look over at SIS, I don't know how many this is out of, 35, 40 guys or whatever. Again, the stats are not phenomenal for most of these things. The two areas where he does rank quite well, his quick pressure percentage is 3%, which ranks 4th. And then actually, as far as the, they've got the little visual bars or whatever, the one that's actually higher or longer or whatever, even though it ranks 9th, is average tackle depth. Actually, it's adjusted tackle depth plus, which compares actual tackle depth to expected tackle depth based on personnel intended run gap and the defender's pre-snap alignment. And then they scale that out to 100 as average. So he is at 137. If we head over to PFF, looking at some of the more advanced statistics, the pass rush stuff is not fantastic. So Nazir Stackhouse's pass rush productivity, which is comprised of his 0 sacks, 0 hits, and 7 hurries, is a 1.4. Warren Brinson is 4.3. Kristen Miller is 5.4. To put that into a little bit of context, when I try to search for him in the top 200, he's not on the list. So the pass rush, not super great. Run defense, Kind of depends where you look. So, again, we're dealing with, it's not going to sound great, but we're dealing with massive numbers. So it's out of 539 prospects. So keep that in mind. It's not like the NFL where it's like, oh, he ranks 70th. You must be garbage. No, not quite. If you look at, again, this is run defense, stop percentage, which for PFF is a tackle that is a negative play for the offense. Warren Brinson ranks, he's tied for 74th. If we go over to a different pass rush page, if you actually look at his win percentage, he ranks 68th, which is not obviously super terrible, 9.6%. Now, in reality, that should be higher, especially in college football. I mean, if he's at that in the NFL, I'll be happy, I guess. If you compare true pass sets here, if you look at the grade 65 compared to 66, it doesn't make that big of a difference. Meaning, it's not like he's double teamed all the time, and that's why things aren't going super well. His pass rush productivity does go from a 4.3 up to a 5.6, and his win rate does go from 9.6 up to 14.1, but not everybody, but a lot of people's go up. If you look at his win percentage in true pass sets, he ranks 102nd. But if we just look at the entire defensive line class here, he actually ranks 80th overall, which is quite impressive. First of all, big school. I mean, the guy above him plays at FAU, right? Middle Tennessee, James Madison, Central Michigan. So we'll see how it pans out. Either way, I think he's a fun guy. It's going to be exciting to kind of get to know him. It's going to be cool watching the Georgia guys up front battle it out, see what we can get from them. I'm really hopeful that we can get some solid run defense, and as Matt LaFleur put it, do some of the dirty work. I do think that he was actually kind of hurt at Georgia a little bit, the fact that he was put on the outside. You got to remember that was, when you take a defensive tackle and you put him and make him a defensive end and say, go win, you're probably going to lose. Not trying to just make excuses for the guy, but, at Georgia, he's some kind of mega freak that can be moved all around. I think in the NFL, you have one job and you need to stay there and do that job. So anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. You guys have a good rest of your day. I will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.